Just pick something off of there. Oxygen, mijo, remember we need to be unplugged completely. I shouldn't have to say that every day. Okay, oxygen. Now look at your periodic table. And oxygen has, what's my weight for that? What's my mass?
16.
16, very good. And your atomic number is 8, right? Now this is called a nuclear symbol. Okay, so on some of your worksheets today, that top number is your mass, and the bottom number is your atomic number. Okay, so just like yesterday, your objective today is to actually calculate the different parts of the atom. Okay, your protons, your neutrons, your electrons. Do we need a review on that? No? Okay, so the new thing that we're going to do today is the isotopes. And you're also going to calculate your average mass unit using what you got from yesterday. Okay, so let's do oxygen as well. Okay, and let's make 3 different atoms. Now, when you do isotopes, you could have 2, you could have 5, you could have 10. Whatever they give you, you're going to figure out. Okay, you're going to calculate it just like this. All right, so if we have oxygen, you know what? Let's do a different page just because. There we go. Okay, because we're going to need the space for the calculations. Okay, so here's my atom. And we have oxygen. So my proton for oxygen was what? It's 8, right? Because it's the same as your atomic number. So on an isotope, your protons never change, right? If I change my protons to 9, what's my element going to be? Fluorine. Very good. Okay, so that proton never changes. For isotopes, what's going to change is your neutrons. Whoops. What's going to change is the neutron, and because your neutron changes, your mass is going to change as well. Okay? So let's say for the first atom, my mass is 16. So if my mass is 16 and my protons are 8, how many neutrons do I have? 8. Very good. Okay? So now let's say we have oxygen 15, and then we have oxygen 14, and that's my new mass. So for this one, how many neutrons am I going to have? 7, very good. And for oxygen 14, I'm going to have how many? 6, very good. So you see how you have different numbers of neutrons? That's why your mass changes. That periodic table, this is an average of what has been found for every single element, okay? So if I give you a percent, let's do that on a separate page. Say let's do carbon. Let's say I give you 80% of carbon 12. And let's say I give you 12% of carbon 13. And let's say I give you 8% of carbon 14. Now guys, when you see a dash, this is just a dash. It's not a negative, okay? Your mass is still 14. Okay, for isotopes, the way you're going to calculate this is you're going to change that percent into a regular number. So normally when you do that, you divide by 100, right? But do we really have to divide? You can just move the decimal, right? So we're just going to move it 1, 2 times. So you have 0.80. Okay, so that's no longer percent. And you multiply it times my mass, which is on top. So that's a 12. Okay? Now you do the next one. What do? I move the decimal twice. Very good. So what's going to be my problem? Very good. 0.12 times that 13. Okay. Same thing now here. I have a single digit. Does that mean I only move it once? No. Nope. I have to move it twice, right? Because it's still a percent. So 0.08 times 14. Now use your calculator on your phone. 0.80 times 12 is how much? 0.80 times 12 is how much? Everyone should be off the phone. Sorry, except for the calculator. Sorry. 9.6? Okay, 9.6. Okay, now 0.12 times 13 is how much? 1.56. Very good. Okay. 0.08 times 14? 1.12. Okay, 1.12. Now, you're going to add all of these up and get a total. What is my total? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. 12.2? 12.28. This is my AMU. That is my average mass unit. That's how you calculate that, okay? And the reason you have different mass numbers is because you have a different number of neutrons in each of those atoms. We see that? Okay? And so this could be a sample of 2 elements, 3 elements, or a sample of 10 elements. You do the same thing to all 10 and still add them up, and this is your average mass unit, okay? Now, anytime we have problems, you must show all of this work to get credit, and that's from here to June on anything we do, okay? And you must have the unit, because you're going to have different points are going to be for the process, and then you're going to get different points for the actual answer, and different points for the unit, okay? So eventually we're going to go to that by the second semester. Okay, what questions do we have so far? What questions do we have so far? Are we sure? Okay, so what's your objective today? What are you going to do?
Do your work.
You're going to, how are you going to do your work? You know what?
We're going to find the AMU.
Yep, you're going to find the average mass unit. You're going to actually calculate that with what's given to you, okay? Now, we're going to actually do a lab on this tomorrow with M&Ms. Is anyone allergic to chocolate or peanuts? No, are we sure? Okay, if you are, make sure that you don't eat any of the lab, all right? Okay, and that little lab is going to show you, you can have like a trash can filled with mixed M&Ms or a little fun pack of M&Ms, and you're going to get the same average mass. So look at carbon on the periodic table. What mass does it have? 12.01, right? Is this kind of close to it?
Yeah.
What we calculated? Yes, okay? It's going to be very close to what your original mass is on the periodic table, and that's because it's an average, all right? Okay. All right, we sure we don't have any questions?
No.
Okay, you're going to get started on whichever one you want to, either the review from yesterday or the calculations from today. Now, I had a couple of questions, and this is the benefit of being 8th period. Look at the one where it's giving you the nuclear symbol on that side. Okay? Notice how some have just a plus and a minus by themselves. What does that mean? What charge is that? 1. If it doesn't have a number, that means it's a charge of 1. Okay? Now, you see how you have a plus in front sometimes, and sometimes it's in the back of the number? Okay, right now it's not going to make a difference. That's for later in the second semester. We're going to do that with oxidation and reduction, okay? All right, and that's it. Anything else? Yes. Make sure you get the hall pass. All right.